Genesis dog, Genesis dog, Genesis dog, Genesis dog, Genesis dog, Genesis dog. What Nintendo cats?
Hello, and welcome to the 26th Genesis Dogs rating. Today we'll be talking about two crude dudes. And in the dog category, it was 10 out of 10. There was dog enemies. They'd run up to you and they bite and they hold on tight. And they're really good doggos. So yeah, they're really good. I like the dogs a lot in this game. The Splash was pretty good too, went over the story. It took place 2010, then the nukes went off in New York, and then 20 years later, like the evil organization Big Valley took over, and then the president enlisted two crude dudes to go fight. And it's very 90s, and I kind of really dig it. Then the title screen panned over the city and into the sky, which was cool. Then the demos showed a couple of the stages, which is also pretty nice. The music was alright too. It was kind of had some funky beats to it, but it was nothing that really stood out super much to me, mostly just the funky beats. And the bosses were alright too. They were pretty tough. It's hard to fight the bosses without taking damage yourself, but it is doable once you know the strategies of how to fight and stuff. But have giant mutated animals, a giant beetle man, this beast guy, this guy with swords for hands, scythes, and, and then the final scientist guy couldn't do anything to you, but he's still trying his hardest. They turned into a monster. It was still a pretty good time for bosses. Difficulty came out swinging, and it stayed swinging. The end game was really tough. It was one of the games that throw the bosses at you after the fact. The mini bosses become normal enemies at some point, the flamethrower guys and the beast man. At least the mini beast man, the guy that turns into the beast man. You still have to fight him, and it gets pretty tough, especially when there's a boss rush at the end that you have to get through before you get to the final boss, which is pretty nuts because the bosses are still a very big damage sink if you don't have enough lives saved up throughout the game. So it stays pretty hard. I wouldn't give it any more than 8 out of 10. I considered 7 out of 10, but I think it's not quite that hard, but it is still pretty hard. Experience, I had a fun time with it. It was an alright little thing. I gave it 7 out of 10. I don't think it doesn't deserve less. I enjoyed it more than Death and Return of Superman, but I don't really enjoy it much more than all the rest of the 7 games, the Immortal or the Flintstones. I had about the same amount of experience with this one. I really liked picking up all the things. You can grab anything and everything and just throw it, which is a lot of fun. I think it's mostly made for a 2-player experience, which I missed out on, unfortunately, so it'd probably rate higher if I did play it 2 players with a friend or something. In total, 47 out of 60. A pretty solid score. Almost, that's about straight 8s, which is pretty good. And I think it's what it gets. It did really good on the Splash, had a dog. The good stuff, yeah. And I'd recommend it. Play with a buddy, throw each other around. It'd be pretty fun. So yeah, we're just gonna spin the wheel. Tinhead, come on, Tinhead. Yeah, Tinhead, one of my childhood favorites. Yeah, okay. And coming up next, it's Tinhead! It's one of my favorite childhood games. I played this a lot. I got it from one of my friends. I'll talk about that later, but I had a really good time with this game in the past, and I've been looking forward to playing this one again. It's about a little robot dude that shoots stuff out of his head. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. It's like a platformer shooter kind of game. It kind of plays like Mega Man if you wanna give that bit of a stretch there. But okay, Tin Head. And the wheel! Here's the deal. On coffee.com/GenesisDog, if you donate me $1, you can increase Eddie's size of the wedge to make it easier to land on, like Tin Head was. $5, and you can add any game that starts with the letter T to the game queue, and I'll play it next. And $10, you can add any Sega Genesis game to the game queue, and I'll play it next. That includes anything. Bootleg, homebrew, whatever. The works. Alright, thank y'all for joining me, and I'll woof y'all later. Woof woof.